We are back for another episode of Red Hoop Talk. It is I, Jennifer Robin, and backstage I have the one, the only Olympian gold record holder, Billy Mills. Mr.
Thank
Mills,
you.
welcome to the
I'm very,
program.
very thrilled to be on.
Well, it's not every day I get to talk to an Olympian. And, the past couple weeks, as I ran around bragging about interviewing you, every native had an interaction with you starting from elementary school and you coming to give a talk or college setting. Like it truly feels like you're one of us.
The To expand on what you're saying, the thrill we get, we went to Morgan's Steakhouse in Sacramento 2 nights ago. We had this beautiful lady doing an incredible job waiting on us. We started talking, and she was from Rosebud, and she heard me speak when she was in elementary school, and we met in Sacramento, California, at Morton Steakhouse.
Well, next time invite me, pretty please. But Mr. Mills, it's like I've never met an Olympian except for you. So, how common is it for post Olympian medalists to do what you do? I feel like you are more of service to us than other champions out there.
There's some uniqueness to it. Let's just take an autograph, for example. Olympians are signing multitudes of autographs. A professional athlete will charge for his autograph, and yet if an Olympian doesn't have the time to sign one more autograph, we're unpatriotic. And so there's this uniqueness with the Olympians that is really based more on virtues and values. And then the other comment I'll make, we go back in time. I belong to this unique club, I'll call it, of Olympic gold medalists that last year, 2024, celebrated its 2,800th birthday.
Wow.
So when we look at the NBA or other sports organizations, we have different perceptions, and ours is based upon more on a sacredness of virtues and values. Although there's obviously many of the Olympians, of course, have chosen to try to win their gold medal on performance enhancement drugs. But the bottom line, we still have, and I pride myself in being a drug-free athlete, who belongs to this organization, 2,800 years old, working on 2,801 years.
But you're not just a gold medalist, you still hold a record, don't you?
Yes, the uniqueness is I'm the only person from the Western Hemisphere to win a gold medal in the 10,000-meter run. But we have some tremendous young athletes coming up. Probably today, the distance runners today in the United States of America are the best group of distance runners we've ever had.
Do you feel threatened by these young bucks, or are you cheering them on?
You know, the first 2 or 3 Olympics that happened, so 8 years after winning the gold medal, now it's been going on 61 years. The fact that I won, I was secretly hoping that I remained the only gold medalist for another 4 years. Then after 12 years, I started wanting a companion. I wanted someone joining me, and it kind of went in stages as I matured. I thought it probably would be a Native American female distance runner. Then I thought it's going to be a female distance runner. And now we have such great quality distance runners. I don't know who it's going to be, but I think possibly in Los Angeles, a male or female from the United States of America can win the gold. And I will be thrilled to have a companion.
That's amazing. Well, since you have been a record holder for so long, do you get to retire on Mount Olympus?
We become Olympic junkies. We, we were in Paris for the Olympic Games. My wife and I, and we took 4 daughters and son-in-laws. So there were basically 10 of us at the Olympic Games, and our youngest daughter Megan took 4 of her children. So there were a large group at the
Three
games.
three generations or 4 generations?
It'd be 3, yes.
That's
Well,
so cool.
4, yeah, 4. So with that said, we saw every final of track and field at the Olympic Games, and the first final is always the 10,000-meter run. And we were so excited. We had this young runner, Fisher, that I felt could win. He got third. I think strategically, just when you make your final move is so critical in that last 500 yards or 500 meters. But he finished third. Then he finished third in the 5,000. But when the 10,000 was over the first day, it was one of the most exciting 10,000-meter race I've ever seen, except for Tokyo in '64. And
I believe it.
I thought, wow, this is the event of the Olympic Games. The next night, another final. This is the event of the Olympic Games. Every night had 1 or 2 finals that were so powerful, so dramatic, so meaningful to society that it was just the most precious moment in a sense of me participating in track and field.
So, LA, you're going to be there, right?
Yes, we will. We'll be in LA. We'll be in LA, and we're actually going this year in September to Tokyo, Japan, where I won my gold medal. The World Track and Field Championships are in Tokyo. So Pat and I are guests of the World Track and Field Association, and we'll be in Tokyo, Japan. A new stadium, but they took from the old stadium the names of the gold medalists from 1964. So we'll be able to look up and once again see my name among the gold medalists in the Olympic Games in '64. So we're looking forward to that. Then definitely 2028, LA.
I want to be a Mills. I'm going to marry into your family. I'm going to try really hard. But in amongst this, you are so humble and so nice and just so open, and I feel love and support from you, even though we're not best friends. But if I won a gold medal and held a record, I would be a diva monster. Okay? My feet would never touch the ground. I wouldn't brush my own hair. I'd have people to do that. So is the values and stuff that you hold, is it coming from a place of your indigenous roots? Are you just one of those super nice, wonderful people?
It's coming from me being told by my father. He died when I was 12. He told me when my mother died that I had broken wings, and it takes a dream to heal broken wings. He told me the dream takes you down a path, and you find a passion in life. So you develop the skills that equal the passion, bring them together, and magic can happen. And 1 or 2 of the magical things you do in your lifetime just may be looked upon as a miracle. Then he said, take your culture, traditions, spirituality, extract from them the virtues and the values that empower them. Put those virtues and values in your daily life. And then as you meet people from other societies, compare your virtues and values with theirs. You'll find common ground. You can bond. Friendships can be developed. And then you can discuss intellectually with some compassion and understanding your differences. And you can decide to live as one. And very similar to like when Crazy Horse, he didn't surrender. He came in, bringing his band to be given to the Red Cloud Band. and live under the treaty rights. Walking in with crazy horses, 500 or 700 band members, was my great grandmother with her 5 children, the youngest, 5.5 years old, my grandfather. And so he was living in Crazy Horse's band during the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Crazy Horse said, "Now I found it. I can't verify it. So written history is there. Oral history, I would love to verify it. Then we have truth." Crazy Horse said, "When I look in your eyes, I see your universe. When you are at the center of your universe and I'm at the center of my universe, we can be one. We can live in peace. So I accept, with the blessings of the Great Spirit, eternal peace. But I want to go and live wherever I choose to go." Ultimately, he was murdered. So as I learned about our history, uh, and then my dad said, take those virtues and the values, live them daily. The Lakota virtues and values, very similar to your virtues and values of other societies, that became the core of my training for the Olympic Games and the core of my training for life. So you mentioned that, Pat just hands to me here, Lakota virtues and values: humility, perseverance, respect, honor, love, sacrifice, truth, compassion, bravery, fortitude, generosity, wisdom. You find those throughout society among humanity. And we find our democracy, if we survive another year to celebrate the 250th anniversary, is based upon those virtues and values. And like just in our Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I grew up trying to take those virtues and values of the Lakota and place them into this democratic experiment of the United States of America, to try to be one and to try to have my voice heard. And I'll take one more minute and explain one of our virtues and values. The way I was taught earlier, honesty and truth, but they're separate, or they
Mm.
can be combined. I was taught honesty had to be based on truth. So I'll explain it this way. Think about our leaders today. Honesty. I was taught to try to express my emotions and my feelings through words honestly. But I was also told what I'm saying may not be the truth. And then to watch out for people who will honestly share their emotions and feelings through words that are not true because they want to deceive you. I was taught based it on truth, which is an accurate expression of what I want to share with you through my emotions and feelings. So I grew up trying to speak truth honestly. And today you see honestly being abused constantly, being abused in our judicial system. The Patricia, help me with the three forms of law here:
executive,
executive,
legislative,
legislative, and judicial. It's been abused. So more than ever does this democratic experiment need to hear the virtues and the values of America's diversity, and we come together.
But you grew up, you came from a time that the government wasn't the best to our people, right? You were born into kind of the same ickiness we have today.
Absolutely. I came through that, what I'll call a dark period of time where America was still searching. And what it taught me, and as I read about other people, Sitting Bull simply said, let's take the best of both worlds and build a new world for our children. And that is so poetic and so beautiful, so powerful. But those footprints, those roads, immediately became misleading. Treaty signs, treaties broken. The educational system, the boarding school system, immediately stripping us of our culture, traditions, spirituality, which is stripping us of our virtues and values. And we had to become white. 100 years ago, last year, celebrating our citizenship, were to become citizens in 1924, we had to give up everything that pertained to indigenous, our culture, our traditions, our language, religion, sacredness of the drums, etc. And some people did, most did not. Then we started in our 50s, finally making inroads to become full-fledged citizens. And the road we went on, the road we were placed on, I remember when I first read the 1821 or 23 law, Supreme Court case that they used to win that Indian people cannot own land. It's based on the doctrine of discovery. We can only occupy, locking us outside of the American dream and creating devastating poverty, then creating a poverty of dreams. I remember my wife and I going to 5 hotels in Gallup, driving in late at night with our daughter as a Marine Corps lieutenant, being transferred to Camp Pendleton to join the elite Marine Corps track team, trying to make the Olympic team. And 5 motels turned me down. Pat went in, and it was her exposure to lack of diversity in America. She came out and said, they have lots of rooms. Then she realized they were segregating against me. 85 death threats just for saying what I'm sharing with you. So yes, it was a difficult journey. And I approached it in this manner. We're now citizens. We're now part of this incredible democratic experiment. So our voice needs to be heard. And with that said, I looked upon this democratic experiment. It's an experiment. And experiments are flawed in the beginning. And we have to understand the flaws and make corrections to fulfill the promise of those that wrote this democracy. And the journey we were on created generational trauma. It created generational privilege. I'm half Lakota. I'm half white. So I've experienced trauma. I've experienced privilege. And today, privilege is looked upon as a right, not a privilege. So as we try to bring equality to correct the flaws, people are thinking something's being taken away from them. That's their right, not a privilege. And the results of that is we've got leadership in America today that says white people are being discriminated against. So we start eliminating this whole process that's brought us this close to correcting the flaws in this democratic experiment and becoming one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I am 5/8 brown and 3/8 white, but I didn't get to choose to express my white side. I was put in that category of you're an ethnic woman at a young age. It's interesting that you broke a world record, you hold a world record, you have a gold medal, but still society has to make you native and limit your privilege.
From a negative standpoint, they say I'm not as good, and I struggled with that, and came close to committing suicide. Till I realized my strength comes from virtues and values. So I just went back and made Lakota virtues and values the core of my life. And I compare them with the virtues and values in Christianity. I compare them with the virtues and values of our nation, the United States of America. But I also compare them with virtues and values of other societies worldwide to build common ground and to build relationships. So I'm going to make this was all put further in place for me by Oliver Red Cloud, a descendant of Chief Red Cloud. And when I made the Olympic teams, 1964, Oliver said, "You take our most precious prayer with you. We are all related. You're going to go to the Olympic Games. You're going to meet relatives from other parts of the world for the first time. Just let them know our prayer. We are all related." And then he said, "Keep in mind you come from the heart of everything that is, the Black Hills. Your relatives you will meet. They have their heart of everything that is. Find common ground through your hearts of everything that is." I fly into Tokyo. I look out the window. I saw Mount Fuji. And if you're young listening and you've not seen Mount Fuji, Google it. Look at Mount Fuji. It's so powerful. It's spiritual. I looked out, saw Mount Fuji, and it was, my God, that is the heart of everything that is to the Japanese. And I was bonding on the plane. We landed, and this is hard for me to describe. I saw the Japanese citizens defeated through the atomic bomb being dropped, and how the men and women would bow to respect the Americans. And as they bowed, I saw our elders on the reservation respecting the US government that was now suppressing us. And I knew that our elders were not submitting. They were expecting respect in return and a dialogue to move forward. And I was probably the only person on the US Olympic team that felt that or that recognized that. And then in the village, I read this article, the Japanese leadership wanted the young men and women born on the day of the first atomic bomb being dropped, and those born on the day of the opening ceremonies, almost 20 years later, to see the world as one. And the man that lit the torch was born 1 hour before the first atomic bomb was dropped, probably less than 3 kilometers away, less than 2 miles. He survived the blast, the radiation, and was chosen to light the torch. So I formed global unity through the dignity, through the character, through the beauty of global diversity. Not only the theme of the Olympic Games to me, but the future of humankind, all based on Oliver Red Cloud saying, "Take our most powerful prayer to the Olympic Games with you. We are all related." So I walked this journey. I'll call myself a Christian man. I was led there through Lakota virtues and values. I have many, many Olympic colleagues who will say, "Billy, you're not a Christian. You have to give up those virtues and values." And that is how confused our society is. I'll finish this thought with, I spoke to some scientists, nuclear scientists, about 6 months ago, and their objective was to find cure for certain forms of cancer and to find a way to address global global climate change. And they told me how their experiment, after I spoke, they related my words to their experiment because they are in an experiment, and in the beginning it's flawed. They keep advancing, then they come up with a cure for that form of cancer. Well, that's our democratic experiment. but we're not being allowed to advance anymore. We're having to eliminate diversity, equity, inclusion.
But colonization, you mentioned it earlier. Colonization says somebody has to lose for somebody to win. They're really the kind of philosophy from Europe that moved over is with that doctrine of discovery. I'm right, you're wrong. I deserve this, you don't. So it feels like there was never an attempt, like you said, to blend the best of both and make this amazing country. So it seems like, yeah, this current administration kind of has that same philosophy. You have to lose so we can win.
Let me make this comment here. America needs to hear the voice of our young indigenous people. More than ever, America needs to hear the voice of diversity across America. As a young Marine Corps officer, I was told indirectly to know the diversity of everybody in my unit, but they didn't say no diversity. They said it. They said it in a very incorrect manner. Learn about the weakness of the people in your unit, because we're only as strong as the weakest. I took that to say, learn about the diversity of people in my unit, because we are only as strong as we understand one another. And if we don't understand the diversity of one another, we're missing this incredible opportunity to be strong as one. And America needs to hear the voice of our young people. America needs to hear the voice in the classroom, the diversity of every student. That voice has to be heard. And from there comes the dreams, comes that opportunity to have every American citizen contribute to the horizon of America's future. We're stronger as one.
So why aren't you running for president? Because you have my vote. We can do Pat as vice president. You got 4 kids to fill all the cabinet spots. I mean, at this point, it's Billy Mills, Mills 2028. I'm so ready.
So help me out here, Patricia.
President Mills.
Madam Mills. Doesn't that sound good, Patricia? Madam Mills.
I don't know if I could handle that, because when we got married, Pat, which is 60, working on this year was 63 years of marriage. And Pat said I could make all of the major decisions. She would only make the minor decisions. So on January 27th last month, I asked her, how come I haven't been able to make any decisions? And she said, so far there haven't been any major decisions. So she made them all. So I would not do too well as a president.
Well, women have always done most of it, and we just kind of let you guys,
I'm going to add to that. In our travels worldwide, in over 100 countries, 8 for sure, the last 12 countries we visited to, they were studying, people we talked to, universities, young people, professors. They were studying the treaty rights, the various tribes. They'd studied the Lakota treaty right with the United States government. They're studying it. They're studying the doctrine of discovery. And they have said to Pat and I that they look toward indigenous people from the United States of America, indigenous women first from the United States of America, and then all women from the United States of America for hope, for direction, for clarity of mind, to make positive decisions and stay the course. And what happens to the indigenous women, then all women from the United States of America, is either their celebration or their demise. So our young indigenous women all young women in America needs to know many parts of the world they are looked upon for direction, for hope, for clarity of mind.
It's beautiful because here in my skin right now, especially the way things have been this year, I am drawing upon my grandmothers, great grandmothers to just be quiet and keep my head down. Like there's a fear that that intergenerational trauma, I'm feeling the survival lessons from my ancestors of just be quiet, don't make noise, keep your head down, it'll be over soon. And that's no way to live.
Yeah. You know what you're saying there makes me think of the most difficult decision I had to make in doing the book Wings of an Eagle. Wings of an Eagle, Olympic gold medalist of Billy Mills, Olympic gold medal dream, I guess it's, yeah. And I wanted to write a book, but I had one problem I had to address. I'm half white, but I don't really know the white world. I know how the white world has treated me, being half Lakota and half white, but I've never been able to be accepted into the white world as if I was 100% white. So I was reluctant writing a children's book because I wanted to express how my great grandfather, B.B. Mills, must have felt, what his thoughts might have been when he comes from Europe, Scottish and English, primarily English, first cattle drive into Wyoming he's involved in as the buffalo's been systematically killed off to starve the indigenous people. He meets my great grandmother. They marry. They have children. He speaks Lakota. And Red Cloud asked the US government officials if B.B. Mills could become the first Indian agent, which is now the Red Cloud Agency in Pine Ridge.
Mm.
The US government refused because he spoke fluent Lakota, married a Lakota woman, the father of 5 Lakota children, the youngest at the time, 3 years old, my grandfather. It would be too hard to take the Indianness out of the Indian, to save them. Basically, to take the virtues and the values that built my life out. So he died 3 months later. We don't know how he died. And that's when she found her way to Crazy Horse's band. And he was accepting women and the children whose husband and fathers the past. And they lived for 5.5 years in Crazy Horse's band. So I wanted to know what my white grandfather thought, how he felt. And I didn't know how to do that. And then in 2014, Donna Janelle Bowman, a young writer, has been studying the Lakota culture. And she had been studying me. So she wanted to write a children's book. And I kind of made myself hard to contact, not on purpose, but just my schedule. She continued studying me, continued writing for 4 years. Finally, Pat and her said, we're making an appointment. She was in Sacramento. She came out. She walked in. She started talking. And right away, I sensed, here's a lady that is touching on what I find missing, that I would have a struggle with, and that is she understood written history so well. She documented the written history about me, about the Lakota. And here she was now entering oral history, trying to learn about oral history. And she comes in with this open mind, basically saying, tell me your oral history, and I can put them together with you.
No.
And it was like a gift. This is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been struggling. How do I do this? And she understood what I was feeling when I said, when oral history meets written history, America will learn the truth. And I told Pat, it's time. We do the children's book. She's doing one. She's already done a lot of the work. Regardless of all that, she understands what I'm looking for. Oral history has to meet written history. And we co-produced the Wings of an Eagle. And the other issue with that, absolutely, yes, Wings of an Eagle. The other with that, it was, I really wanted, let's see, I'm going to have to think about this so I say it properly. So I'll get back to you on that, because I want to make sure that I get it the way I want to say it.
Okay, how does this project or book differ from the lessons of a Lakota book that was 20 years ago?
Okay, excellent question. Lessons of Lakota was written to help the indigenous people suffering from trauma.
Mm.
They wanted to help them, walk them through a story, kind of an indigenous story, that would help them accept trauma, traditional healings versus the new medical experts that could provide some very healthy forms of healing. So I wanted to help address the seventh generation. So yeah, lessons of a Lakota here. Trying to address that with I think it was Sitting Bull again said, let's take the best of both worlds and create a new world for our children. And then the leaders following up on that said, it'll take 7 generations of the Lakota before we could maybe heal without help. And then we could take our culture, our traditions, our spirituality along with us and our dreams into the horizon of America's future. Well, the 7th generation is in the classrooms today.
Wow.
Our youngest grandchildren are 7th generation. Our 4 great-grandchildren are 7th generation. So that's where Donna Janelle Bowman was very effective, and she understood that, and she understood how the 7th generation of everybody in the classroom, from the time my tribe signed a treaty, there may be a young Asian girl in the classroom. What was her children doing at the same time my tribe signed the treaty? She's a 7th generation from that period. So she understood that, and how everybody in the classroom had the right for their dream to be understood and to be supported. And we're more powerful if we understood the 7th generation of diversity in the classroom. And we put this incredible book together. And I'm going to ask Pat to get her thoughts ready, because I want her to come on, her voice to come on and to tell you some of the awards we got. And while she's doing that, S.D. Nelson, a Lakota, who I believe is a descendant of Sitting Bull. He's the illustrator, a very famous illustrator, and he used a concept that maybe Pat can explain to you in the book. And
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It really is. It's
Yes,
beautiful.
and he his illustrations brought the pictures to life. You can feel. It's like there's a photo there, and you can see behind it. You can get that complete feeling through his illustrating. But Patricia, can you mention some of the awards we received?
Because Mr. Billy Mills is so humble.
Yes.
So I'll just read these, okay?
Pat, welcome. I love you. I cherish you. You need to write a book on 60-something years of marriage.
We have a story about that too.
How to maintain an Olympian.
Yeah. Just the latest one we got.
Well, the latest is from the American Library Association, they got it's called an honor award for informational youth book, and it's one of the highest awards that you can get from the American Library Association. So we're really proud of that. And it was recommended by Oprah Winfrey's book club, and so it's been getting a lot of good reviews. So we're really proud of it.
One of the ones that I am so proud of, the people that review the books. There's one lady who I believe might be indigenous, has been very critical on books written about indigenous youth, and they were waiting for her review, and I just felt I hope the oral history I was trying to put in with Donna Janelle, I hope that can be felt, whether it was or not. One of her comments referred to every child in America needs to read this book, and I cried because I wanted to help, and I wanted to help inspire the dreams of our youth, and I wanted to empower the dreams of our elders, and I wanted in some way to reach the young people. So a lot of what we've been saying here, and I wanted to. My dad told me, when you find that passion in life, you develop the skills to equal the passion. You bring them together, and magical things can happen. And then he died when I was 12. And then the racism came so close to destroying me. But I followed what he was saying. I followed the Lakota virtues and values. I put them into comparison with Christianity, with other religions and other societies across the world. And I felt I was given a gift. I felt every young person in America on the planet has a gift. And if they can find that gift, and if they can develop it, bring that gift with equal skills, magic can happen. So the way we put that into the book for some young people to read, I'll get my glasses on here. And
so you autographed this, and I was going to give it to my 7-year-old nephew, but I was like, no, he autographed this, so I bought him his own copy.
So just two paragraphs summarizing for first, second, third grader.
What page are we on?
What was this?
What page?
Very first page.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was taught that I had the ability within me, if I could find that passion in life, to change the world, to create magic. And I was on the verge of suicide, and I wrote down a dream to heal a broken soul. I put Olympic gold medal, 10,000-meter run. The Creator has given me the ability. The rest is up to me. Believe, believe, believe. So I put this into just two paragraphs. October 14th, 1964, Olympic Stadium, Tokyo, Japan. 38 world-class runners gather on this rain-soaked track. All eyes are on the favorites, world record holders, a previous gold medalist, the best of the best. Most people don't notice me. They don't know that I am Oglala Lakota, Native American. They don't know that I have wings. But in 25 laps, 10,000 meters, 6.2 miles, they will. So I put that in there for a first, second, third grader to know as they mature, their dreams can come true.
But having dreams is easy, okay? And disappointment hurts, okay? Disappointment, losing, not like, a lot of my dreams I've been chugging along at for 8-9 years, but I have this feeling that something good is going to click. But you talk about feeling suicide. I mean, it's not all just pumped up, positive, we can do it. There really are these valleys as we pursue our talents and our passions.
That is so powerful the way you put it. And let me describe my experiences with that. I ran track for 12 years. My accomplishments occurred in the last 13 months of 12 years. In high school, I started running. I tell my coach I'm tired. I get tired. He said, "Well, I don't know. Did you stay up late?" Coach, no, I went to bed early. I ate properly. I'm tired. So he said, "I'll take a jar of honey. I'll give you some honey to suck on before races. Just suck on it, swallow it, and maybe 2 or 3 ounces at the very most an hour before you run." So I would do that, and I was winning. I came out of high school and feeling very, very powerful. I get to college, my college coach took my honey jar away, said, "This is different. We eat 4 hours before." All through college, I'd fall apart. I'd show incredible promise, but I'd falter. I was winning races, making All-American, but not emerging to be that elite. I graduated from college. The coach told me he wasted a full scholarship on me. I have low self-esteem, orphaned, minority, poverty. Got to learn how to deal with that. I entered the Marine Corps, top 2 and 3 academically, top 2 and 3 physically. I fell apart. They take me to the hospital. The doctor examines me. He said, basically, I was type 2 diabetic. That's why you're falling apart at the end of your races. That was 13 months before my career was over. And he said, we don't know how to help you, but maybe try a high protein diet, be more selective in what you eat. So Pat and I would experiment, and I was trying to eat better. That 13 months, I won the Olympic gold medal, set the Olympic record, ran on a muddy track, the third fastest 10,000 meters ever run, beat the greatest field of distance runners ever assembled. The next 7 months on into 1965, set 5 American records, 1 world record, ranked number 1 in the world in 1964, number 3 in the world in 1960, 5 in the 10,000, 5th in the world in the 5,000. Walked off the track and was supposed to compete in Kyiv, Ukraine. I got sick, did not. I competed in the next race, walked off the track, 1965, telling Pat it's too hard competing, diabetic. I'll never be world class again, but I'll compete just for the fun of it. And that was the end of my career. A few years down the road, they diagnosed me, it's not diabetes. Since high school, I've had a tumor on my pancreas that spews extra insulin. It's called insulinoma. Women usually get it. Very few women get it. So infrequent for that tumor to turn into cancer. A year and a half ago, the doctor said, go have a good life. We're going to quit testing you for cancer. That tumor will still take you high and low every day throughout your life, but you functioned well with it. So I just want to let people know my track and field journey was not roses. It was a struggle just mentally to stay the course. The virtues and the values of our indigenous people gave me the strength to stay the course. Kept to overcome the 3 occasions, the thought of suicide. And 13 months made my Olympic career.
Well, I noticed in my own stuff, it's not, I want to necessarily kill myself. It's you want to kill the terrible situation you're in.
Oh, you put that so powerful. I never thought of dying. I didn't want to kill myself. I just wanted to go where it would be very quiet
And
and I
easy.
be peaceful.
We all crave that. Man, I can't believe I know that when I talked to Miss Pat, we said an hour. I might just kidnap you and pick your brain for a few days. So, I want to let you know that my grandfather is a half-breed Cherokee and Baptist preacher. And he shared with me, he said the natives like the Bible because it's still one true God. You talk about the values, everybody wants a good life and connection with their creator. Everybody wants their babies to be safe and healthy. Everybody craves a purpose when they wake up in the morning. These are things that no matter where you go, the humanness craves that. So I really appreciate how you move through. You really do ooze the values that you were taught. You really do.
Absolutely.
You're like a Lakota Buddhist. Like we need to get you an Indian robe,
Yeah.
right? Put you on a rock somewhere and just let you speak your wisdom.
But when my father said, take those virtues and values, extract from culture, tradition, spirituality, those virtues and values, and put those virtues and values into your daily life. That is the most powerful advice I've ever been given.
Oh, but it's so hard because you come across an idiot or a jerk, or you wake up feeling incapable of doing anything right. And there's so much of this, blah, 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 this humanity that limits us in our own lives. It's annoying.
Yeah. We've been so blessed. Even in one of the countries we traveled to, and we're invited to a home, and everybody's there's of Islamic faith. And the home we went into, the gentleman said, for the first time in the history of our family line, Patricia, you'll be the first female joining us men for dinner. My mother, you'll join Patricia also. You two will be the first females joining us men for dinner at the table. And they said the world is changing so fast, sometimes too fast for them. But just out of respect, he said, Mom, you've got to be here. Then he said, Auntie, to Patricia, you have to join us. And as you look back, that was a major, major decision for that family to make. But it was all based upon virtues and values.
So when is Patricia's book coming out? Because hearing all this stuff and her tagging along around the world, I want to read her book. Patricia, I don't know how to draw very well, but you will have some of the most beautiful stick figures ever seen when you're ready. When you're ready to write that book with me.
I'll illustrate it too.
We'll call it
artist,
Married.
yeah.
We'll call it Married to 10,000 Meters. The Patricia Mills story.
Okay.
Right? It's a lifetime. I see it. It's happening. If anybody likes it or not.
I don't know. Patricia wants to tell you how we stayed married for 63 years. And I will participate. And you're editing this, right? So you can always edit it out. Your call. But I think I shared this with you when we met. I wanted to. How can I get this? On our anniversary, I wanted to make it romantic. So I told Pat, you think of 3 songs that remind you of me. I'll think of 3. We'll go to dinner, and at the end of dinner, we'll share our songs. So I gave mine first. I struggled between Wind Beneath My Wings or The 12th of Never, or I'll love you until the 12th of it, never. There's no 12th of never, so I'll love you forever. I chose Wind Beneath My Wings. Then I chose The Rose. And she kissed me on the cheek and said, that is so sweet, but I should have noticed her smile. Then she shared her two.
My two were Wasted Days and Wasted Nights
Oh,
by Freddie Fender. And these four walls are closing in on me. So I got him back.
oh,
So
my thought,
that's how we stay married for 63 years.
sense of humor.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Well, I was glad because I was worried, Billy, you were going to say my first song was Super Freak by Rick James. The second song. You guys tickle me. And you're okay. So you hold a record, you have a gold medal. Beyond those things, Billy, you're such an inspiration to me. I
Well,
keep going. I keep pushing. I pray. There's so much. Every time I want to lay down on the floor, again, I have to focus on the virtues and values I was raised with, that absolute faith in myself and in Creator that I can do this.
but what you're doing now is very powerful. You're doing it. It's part of you. You're close to it. You probably don't realize the impact you're having. In many ways, it's a sacred impact. So I wanted to, after coming back from the Olympic Games or going to the Games, Oliver Red Cloud said, "You must have your giveaway. You're having your giveaway. What you do, that's a beautiful, sacred giveaway." He said, "You must have your giveaway. And anytime you've been given a blessing, you have to give back to those that helped empower you. But doesn't have to be them directly. It could be generations to come." So we decided my giveaway would be generosity. And we would give back to those in various ways. We formed Running Strong for American Indian Youth. So the listeners, if you can go to Running Strong for American Indian Youth, you'll see all the work we do on the reservations. And also then go to indianyouth.org, actually, indianyouth.org, and go to Dream Starters program. And you'll see how we're working with young indigenous people, the dreams of young people today. We have different themes, and then they tell how they can empower those themes. The theme for this year is the seventh generation that I just spoke about. Takes 7 generations to heal. And that 7th generation will be those that can take our culture, our traditions, our spirituality into the future in choreographing the horizon of America.
That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure to put on the youth.
So you are having an incredible giveaway. What you're doing.
I'm gonna let that sink in because, especially, I do FM radio. It just goes out. I don't see the faces. I don't. So sometimes I feel like I'm just screaming into a void. But since I love doing it, I keep doing it. But I'm going to let what you said sink in because I love this. I love sharing culture. I love allowing people to talk. I love listening. I love learning. But sometimes it's quite selfish because you gave me a gift today, right? I get stronger and I heal every interview I do because somebody gives me something and I believe it and I listen to it.
Yeah, the gift of our traditional people was one of love, of compassion. One of the virtues I take very seriously is to give to others before you give to yourself. And we're in a society where we know what brought communism down, and we always say we're creating a communist country. Just that giving to the extreme can hurt societies. But our Lakota way that I was taught was our businesses should be based upon the virtues and the values, and everybody commit to living those virtues and values. And as you meet our bottom line, we reach out and help empower the community. What will break our democracy down, what will break our capitalism down, is profit at all cost.
Profit
And we're
over people.
experiencing that. So our young people, they need to hear your voice. And our young people, America needs to hear their voice. And we need to hear the diversity of America, the diversity.
It's scary right now, but I'm still doing it, right? It's scary
Yeah.
right now to be a brown woman, but I'm still stepping to the plate, right? So
Yeah.
all these uncomfortable feelings, I try to leave and step into this incredible moment in time that we get to have. So Billy Mills, you're a busy man. Where can people see you? Where are you just showing up at like powwows, or if somebody wants to do a speaking engagement, what's the best way to
Write to us at Mills Gold.
Patricia is going to make a comment there because she tells me where to go.
Hey, I tried to get her in the interview the whole time. She was my first. Oh, well, Billy's great, but I love Patricia.
So yeah, we're doing a lot. We're very busy for the rest of the year, but just write to us at millsgold@aol.com. And then Billy has his fan page as well, Billy Mills fan page.
Where do we go next? Minnesota.
Yeah, we go to Minnesota. Oh no, we have the Authors on the Move, a big fundraiser here in Sacramento on March 8th. That's going to be a lot of fun.
And who's the key author?
Yeah, Tommy Orange is going to be the keynote.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he sits on the board for Association on American Indian Affairs that hosts this podcast. So
we'll get to meet him for the first time in a couple of weeks.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I mean, if I had to choose authors, I think Billy's cooler. I mean,
we have a busy year ahead of us, but we are accepting appearances. Yeah.
But just because I feel so weird, like I show up in San Jose and you guys are there. I show up in Sacramento and you guys are there. So it's a weird. We're just so used to you here. Like it's selfish. You're ours. We love you, but you're all over the country.
When we met you, you just convey compassion. You convey, you speak to somebody and they know that you're listening, and that's a gift.
I'm getting emotional. I love you guys as humans, not just as Olympians or the Marathon of Marriage. Ooh, that's a good title for the book too. The Marathon of Marriage, the Patricia Mills story.
Okay.
I'm on this. All right. Well, I will let you go. I appreciate everything. We have IndianYouth.org. We got the 2 books that are kind of available everywhere. If we order through Indian Youth, do you autograph or?
Yeah,
we can. Yeah. And we're located in Sacramento. You order through our Running Strong office. They have me go down and autograph them. Or they'll bring them out from here.
They just lock you in the room with a pen and say no sandwiches until you're done. Really? Oh, I blink 2 times if I need to come save you. Well, I appreciate y'all so much, and I will see you soon. And Mills Gold at AOL, IndianYouth.org. You got a fan page on Facebook, so people can stalk you and love you and appreciate you as much as I do.
Thank you. And let's not make it too long because we love your energy.
All right. Well, I will see you out in the world and give you all kinds of inappropriate long hugs. These hugs will be 2 seconds too long.
Okay,
All right.
thanks so
Take
much.
care of each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.